Welcome back to Shreq Airsoft. Today we're doing a very detailed review of this, the Runcam Orange 5 action camera. Alright dudes, let's kick things off with the specs of the Runcam Orange 5. This little cube packs a lot inside, so we'll break it down and hang out to the end because I'm going to show you some live footage of me attacking a fort with a pistol and all of that captured on this little box camera. Inside this little box is a Sony IMX377 image sensor. That's a 12 megapixel sensor, the same type used in a lot of high-end action cameras. For video, you get options all the way up to 4K at 30 frames per second. If you want smoother footage, you can drop down to 2.7K at 60 or 50 feet per second. And for super fast action, you got 180p at 120 feet per second, or the standard 1080p or 1440p at 60 feet per second. Field of view, it's about 145 degrees. That's wide enough to catch all the action without bending reality way too much. Files are saved in the MP4 format, so there's really no weird conversions needed. Just drag it and drop right into your favorite editing software. These cameras use a micro USB interface. It's simple but reliable. For storage, it supports up to 128 gigabyte U3 micro SD card, so you want a fast card if you're shooting at a high bit rate of like 4K. Power input is through the USB interface, 5 to 15 volts. It's pretty flexible, whether you're using a power bank or wiring it directly into your gear. Its size is 38 by 38 by 36 millimeters. For us non-metric folks, that's about 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches by 1.4 inches. It weighs a very tiny 56 grams or about 2 ounces, so you're not strapping a brick onto your helmet. Now this is what's sweet to me. The lens here is protected by 3rd generation 2mm Corning Gorilla Glass, which is important because I have shot out my GoPro sessions more times than I can count now. During testing, Runcam claims they dropped this camera over 120 times from a height of 1.8 meters, that's about 6 feet, and it survived. At 4K, you can expect about 105 minutes of continuous recording time, which isn't bad for something this size. And to smooth things out, it's equipped with electronic image stabilization chip, which is becoming a must-have for action cameras. To be a little honest with you, the EIS or electronic stabilization they have in this camera, it sucks. But here's a bonus feature. The Orange 5 records gyro data. That means you can take your footage into a completely free program called GyroFlow and stabilize it way better than the built-in EIS does. It's an extra step, but if you're making YouTube videos, man, it makes your footage buttery smooth. Here's a quick tip though. In the Runcam app, you'll see an option for distortion correction. If you're uploading raw gameplay video, go ahead and leave that on. It'll straighten out those wide angle edges. But if you're planning on taking your footage into GyroFlow, make sure you turn that distortion correction off. GyroFlow uses its own lens profile, and double correcting can actually warp the footage. And don't let the name fool you. Not only does it come in orange, but it also comes in this really cool black color. That covers the raw specs, but specs only tell half the story. Next up, let's talk about changing the settings. Now here's something weird about the Orange 5. It doesn't have Wi-Fi. You don't have to mess around with configuration files. Instead, Runcam uses a really clever system to program these cameras. You want to install the Runcam Legacy app, not the Runcam app on your phone. I cannot get the Runcam app to work at all, but the Legacy app, that's pretty steady. From there, just go ahead and pick all the settings you want, resolution, frame rate, date, time, EIS, you name it, and then you can program it from there. Once you've chosen everything that you want to change, the app will generate a QR code right here on the screen of your phone. To program your camera, the first thing you want to do is put it into standby mode. It will have a solid green LED. Press the button twice really quick. The LED will turn blue. Once the LED turns blue, just take the camera and put it in front of your phone. The phone will beep twice, and then the LED will go back to green. It is now programmed. It's that easy. This camera, by default, when you first turn it on, goes into standby mode. You have to press the button a second time to get it to start recording. Now, to be quite honest, on the field, I don't want to sit there and be pressing a whole lot of buttons and fumbling with my cameras trying to get them to start recording. There is an option called auto record in the configuration. Select that, program it into your camera with the QR code, and then when you turn the camera on, it'll start recording immediately. Right next to the power button is an LED. If it's steady green, it's in standby mode. Slow flashing green means it's recording. Steady blue means it's ready to read the QR code. A flashing blue means you do not have a micro SD card inside your camera. Our very rapid flashing green means it's turning on and off. When you reprogram this camera, you have to have a micro SD card in it. Without that micro SD card, this camera will not accept the QR code. Those QR codes also mean you can reprogram this camera on the fly. Between games, pull out your phone, make a couple of quick taps, show the QR code, and you're ready to roll. You don't even have to go that far. You can actually print out those QR codes and just show them to the camera. It's good to go. This is very important. On the Legacy app, you'll see the Runcam 5 Orange, and right next to that, the Runcam 5. Don't pick the Runcam 5, it will not program with the QR code. Even though your camera is black, still select the Runcam Orange 5 to get it to program. So programming is actually fast and painless. You never have to touch your Wi-Fi. Next, let's take a look at performance and footage quality. At 4K, 30 frames per second, the image is crisp and detailed. You'll notice sharp edges on the foliage, clear hits on the BB trails, and just overall high quality footage. The trade-off is you're lagged at 30 frames per second, so motion isn't buttery smooth. But for cinematic shots and long-range sniping, it actually looks pretty cool. For faster paced gameplay, 2.7K at 60 frames per second is the sweet spot. You'll get really good image quality, but a smoother motion that makes tracking really easy. If you're into slow motion, 1080p at 120 frames per second is where all the fun is. Perfect for replays of long shots or action highlights, and it holds up surprisingly well for a non-GoPro camera. With the Sony IMX377 sensor, low light performance is fairly decent, but it's not really mind-blowing. Dusk and shaded areas still look fine, but once that sun drops, you'll start seeing sparklies all over the place. We call it noise, and that starts to creep in. Pretty much expected for an action cam of this size. From what I've seen in my footage, colors look natural. Green looks green, blue looks blue, yellow looks yellow. Skin tones aren't all blown out. Dynamic range is decent, meaning you don't completely lose detail on shadows or highlights or when you're shooting against the sky. Audio on this little camera is actually surprisingly good. You see, the microphone is in the very back of the camera on the other side of the lens. It captured all the game chatter and all the noise that was around me. I think I had a little bit trouble with wind noise that was present. And loud noises, people screaming nearby, were definitely distorted. But if you want clean sound, you're better off syncing with an external microphone. Overall, this little box camera, the Orange 5, delivers footage that's more than good enough for YouTube gameplay. If you're looking for that balance between quality, smoothness, battery, and price, this little camera does it all, and it's right in that sweet spot. So performance-wise, this little cube really holds its own. Yeah, but let's go over some of the pros and cons to see if it's the right fit for you. This camera is lightweight and compact. Only 56 grams, about 2 ounces. It won't weigh down your rifle or your helmet. It's also super durable. Man, it has this Gorilla Glass lens on the front, and Runcam drop tested it 120 times from over 6 feet. Great video options. From 4K to 30 frames per second for detail, 2.7K, 60 frames per second for smoothness, down to 180p, 120 frames per second for nice crisp flavor. This thing actually has stabilization options that actually work. It also has clever QR code programming, no Wi-Fi drain, no fiddling around with a whole bunch of buttons. Solid battery life, about 105 minutes at 4K. It's also very affordable. At the time I made this video, it's just a little over $100. So let's go over some of the cons of this little guy. One, there's no live preview. Since there's no Wi-Fi, you can't frame shots on your phone. There's also no LCD on this, so you don't know what the shots look like ahead of time. Audio quality, pretty basic, but it's fine for game chatter. Low light performance is pretty dismal, about average. It struggles once the sun really goes down. You also have a fixed field of view at 145 degrees. You can't change it at all. So yeah, the Orange 5 isn't perfect, but for the price and size, I think it delivers a lot of value. So if you're running an Airsoft channel or any other action type channel, or just want some reliable footage without strapping a GoPro brick to your rifle, man, this thing's a strong contender. So the bottom line, this Runcam Orange 5 is a tough little action camera that punches way above its weight. It's lightweight, it's durable, and delivers clean footage that's perfect for almost any type of action play. The QR code programming is clever, the battery life is solid, and the price point makes it a lot easier to recommend than dropping a whole lot of big cash on a GoPro. Now, who is this camera for? If you want a reliable camera to capture your footage, highlight reels, or just document whatever you're doing without breaking the bank, man, this camera is a fantastic option. But if you need top-tier audio or low-light performance, you might still want to look at a higher-end camera. But for most of us, I think this little camera checks all the boxes. So I promised you guys some footage using the Orange 5. This is video of me attacking a fort. I want you to pay close attention to the sound and also how the trees, the foliage, and everything else looks. I hope you guys found this review helpful. And if you did, man, I'd really like if you hit that like button, maybe subscribe to the channel. I got more reviews, mods, and gameplay videos coming your way. And if you've ever got questions about the Orange 5, drop them in the comments and I'll try my best to get back to you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you out in the field with my camera. This is Shreq, over and out.